Good morning, everyone. I'm Lynne, Richmond, Communications and Public Affairs Specialist at the Advisory Council on Historic Preservation. Welcome. Today I'm here with Rabbi Jesse Paikin, and we're at the historic 6th and I Synagogue in downtown Washington, D.C. We're celebrating, Rabbi, the National Historic Preservation Month and also Jewish American Heritage Month. So before we get into the history of this beautiful, beautiful building, please tell me what is your role here at the synagogue?
Sure, thanks for being here with us. We are an independent Jewish community, and we serve largely young Jews in their 20s and their 30s, although our doors are open to everyone. And because of that demographic, my job is almost entirely teaching and meeting with our community members one-on-one. DC, we know, is a very transient community. People come, they're here for a little bit, and then they're off somewhere else. And we know people are really desperately in search of a spiritual home and a sense of community. So the large majority of my work is meeting with people one-on-one, kind of where they are in their lives, and helping them find what within our tradition can be meaningful and inspiring for them.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like a really fun and fulfilling job. But to be able to do it in a building that is steeped in history must be very exciting. Can you tell me what is the history of this great building?
So this part of the city, I think this is true of many older cities, was once kind of the hub of Jewish life in Washington, D.C. There used to be 3 synagogues down here within a 1-block area, including ours. And the concentration of Jews here was so high that on the high holidays, the Jewish high holidays in the fall, they would shut down the streets so that everybody could just walk out and have easy access. So our history goes back quite far. The building was built in 1908 as one of the homes of Addis Israel, a large conservative synagogue here in Washington, when they were down here in this part of the city. And they were here for a number of years, up until the 50s, when they outgrew the space and they wanted to move uptown where there was a little bit more room. And at the time, the building was sold to Turner Memorial AME Church. And so the building itself was transitioned and it became a church. So a lot of the Jewish features that you see here were put away and stored away, some more delicately than the others. And for over 50 years, the building was the home of Turner Memorial AME Church. Then in the early 2000s, they also outgrew the space and were looking to move. And so the building was put up on the real estate market. And the listing for the building, among other things, said, former church would make great nightclub. And as you can imagine, that did not sit well with some members of the community. And very quickly, 3 different members of the Jewish community phoned each other overnight and started planning, what are we going to do with this? We can't let this gorgeous historic building with so much history in it become a nightclub. And very quickly, they put the resources together and they purchased the building. At the time, it was not clear what the building was going to become. Those people had never bought a synagogue before. They had never thought to buy a synagogue. They weren't looking to get into the synagogue business. And so the building was in search of a mission. The first thing they did was buy 5 sets of Jewish prayer books across denominational spectrums. And they made the decision that because of the history of this building and how it has reached so many people over time, we wanted to continue that tradition and say, regardless of who you are, what you believe, there is room in this building for you. That was a really profound statement they made right at the beginning. And since then, the building has evolved and the programs we offer have changed into what they are right now. So we are a hub for arts and ideas and creative thought here in Washington. We host a lot of book talks, authors and speakers events, concerts, comedy, podcast recordings right here on this stage. And we're also a synagogue, reimagining what it means to be a Jewish spiritual home in the 21st century, when we know that for so many people, the walls of traditional synagogues just are not welcoming to them in the way that they would hope they would be.
I read that putting this back into a synagogue, there relied on some photographs of people's weddings
That's
and bar
right.
mitzvahs and things, just to be able to know what the building actually looked like.
Well, yeah, what you see around us is mostly the original building and the features of the building. It turns out that a lot of the materials you see were stored away, and they were able to dig them up and find them up and put them. So the lamps are all original, the pews are original, the flooring is original, almost all the features are original. And they used photographs from a wedding in the early 1910s to restore everything else you see here. All of the ornate work up above us was based off these photos. What was missing was a photo of our dome. And so the architect went over to Europe and looked at other synagogues that were built in the Moorish style, which ours is built in, which is a combination of Arabic and Jewish influences, and the architect went and looked at other domes and said, well, what might it have looked like at the time? And so came back and designed our dome to look as it might have looked on that day.
Wow, thank you so much. Why is it important to preserve a historic building like this?
You know, in the Jewish tradition, we're always aware that we stand on the shoulders of giants, and that we have a responsibility today to provide meaning and engagement for people without forgetting where we've come from and who we've been. And what that means is when people come and they sit in our pews that are over 100 years old and listen to the most engaging, interesting speakers of the day, or are learning about new pathways to Jewish spirituality, we're looking in both directions, and we're able to remember where we came from, which I think today more than ever is a really profound philosophical statement that we're really proud to embody here in all that we do.
Thank you. So how can someone come here if they wanted to see this beautiful building or participate in programs? How do they learn about it? How can they do that?
So you don't have to be Jewish to come here. We are always open. We regularly offer tours for people. All that information is on our website, sixthandeye.org. Our Jewish offerings are also open to the public, and everybody is really welcome here at Sixth and I. All of our public talks are also up on the web, and there's some really exciting people coming up down the way. And also, when it comes to Jewish life and the spiritual programming that we offer here, we don't, there's no assumption of who you are, what your background is, how much you know. Everybody's really welcome to come, and you'll find that the rabbis here are really interested in getting to know people of who they are, and then to offer up what we think is exciting. This summer we are doing some building upgrades to restore some of the original features of the building. So we will be closed for a little bit over the summer, but are more than happy to still meet people kind of where they are. They can find all the details up on the website, and then we'll be back up opening in the fall, back to our regular schedule, as we celebrate our 15th anniversary, which we just marked in April earlier this year.
Oh, wow, congratulations.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. And I just want to remind our viewers that the ACHP is having a National Historic Preservation photo contest right now. Maybe you want to take a picture of the beautiful Sixth and I Synagogue and post a picture of yourself in front of it as your entry. You just go to our website and you can find out all the details. You just basically need to post a picture on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and your own Twitter and Instagram, but our Facebook page, hashtag #MyHistoricPlace, tag @USACHP, and you're entered. And of course, people are voting for their favorite photographs right now, so please go and vote for your favorite, and they'll win a fantastic historic preservation prize package. So again, thank you very much, Rabbi Jesse Paikin at the historic Sixth and I Synagogue in Washington, D.C. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for being
here. And thank you for joining us today.